Hey there, I'm Mr. Terry, a high school history teacher. Welcome back to another History Teacher Reacts video. All right, I'm in need of a laugh while learning about history, so I'm going to go back to Salmonella Academy. And I've got a video I have not checked out yet and is one of the popular ones. Not that any of them are unpopular, but you know. And this one is called Dead Body Hijinks. All right, I want to hear some neat stories about dead guys from history. But isn't that what all of history is? Just dead guys? Either way. All right, the original video link is down below. By the way, if you noticed, and I'm sure you did if you've seen this, but Sam came back and I actually checked out his most recent video, which you should check out after you watch this. All right, the original video link will be down below. Make sure you're checking that out. Support Sam. Of course, let him keep knowing that we love and want him to keep making awesome videos. All right, and I'll let you know what I think. Let's get started.
Thanks to Dashlane for sponsoring this video.
Thanks, Dashlane. Hey, kids.
Hey kids, whether you're a precocious young lad down by the swimming hole or a grizzled crime scene investigator, everybody's got some interest in dead bodies. Yes, from Weekend at Bernie's to Weekend at Bernie's 2 to Weekend at Bernie's 3 Revelations, stories about wayward corpses have certainly carved their niche in today's media. So,
I don't know, maybe I need to go back to those because maybe they're funnier than I remember being just so weird. You know, Weekend at Bernie's, it's like these kids like uncle dies or whatever, and then the uncle, and they have to like pretend he's alive, so they like dress him up and make him act like he's alive to not get caught for something.
I thought I'd spin a few yarns about some real-life people who were kept out far past their expiration date. Our first tale follows one Elmer McCurdy. He was an outlaw during the twilight days of the Wild West. Thanks to his former life as a miner, McCurdy acted as the demolitions expert to his little posse, using nitroglycerin basically anytime he had the faintest excuse to do so. Except he was kind of a moron, so it didn't usually go quite as planned. Gotta say, after peanut butter and chocolate, my favorite combination of two things is probably gross incompetence and high explosives.
That just reminds me, by the way, of just actually how like historically dangerous it was back then when they would, you know, in the West, like they would be building the railroads and going through mountains, and it was an insanely dangerous job. They would get nitroglycerin, and a lot of, especially like Americans, wouldn't do it. It's why a lot of like Irish and Chinese immigrants, they came and they would do it. Like a lot of American guys like wouldn't even touch it, even with like hazard pay or something, if they even got it. I'm trying to remember.
In March of 1911, McCurdy's band of rabble-rousers found out that $4,000 were in a safe in an approaching train. They managed to stop the entire locomotive. I don't even know how you do that. Break in.
What the F does a train look like? Sam, it's actually pretty good. I don't know about the face. This is like a human and possessed Thomas the Train engine. What the hell does a train look
Stop
like?
The entire locomotive. I don't even know how you do that. Break in, hold everyone on board hostage, and locate the safe. McCurdy steps up to play,
train heist.
Gotta blast the thing open. Except I guess the excitement kind of got to him because he ended up using like way too much nitroglycerin, like inordinate amounts. Ended up completely destroying the safe and its contents, and what few silver coins they made out with were literally melted to the frame of this safe and had to be peeled off. Anyway, he died in a shootout with police later that year, and the undertaker at the funeral home he was sent to couldn't find any next of kin on account of McCurdy being a rambling low-life varmint, so he just embalmed the hell out of him and said, "Hey boys and girls, want to see a dead criminal? Only one shiny nickel." And since Live Leak wasn't around at the time, there weren't many places a kid could go to stare at a corpse for a while if he or she so desired, so it actually became a pretty popular attraction. Visitors would pay their dues by physically slipping the coin into the man's mouth, and the creepy-ass undertaker would come fish him out later, probably with bare hands all slowly and sensual-like. A few years passed when a couple of guys showed up claiming to be McCurdy's brothers with a note from the local sheriff to back it up. They told the undertaker they had permission to go bury McCurdy, so he reluctantly relinquished the body to the men. Except these guys weren't his brothers. They were just a couple of crusty freaking carnies. They shipped the body off to Kansas to become an attraction in the traveling show. From here, McCurdy traded hands a few more times. At one point, he was exploited.
The disrespect for Elmer McCurdy. I'm just going through this on my I'm a history teacher. How can I find a way to integrate this into my lesson to engage the kid? I might need your help. Let me know down below.
For this one guy's film about narcotics. It was like, yeah, this pill-popping degenerate got shot while trying to rob a pharmacy for more dope the other day. The body was super old by then, so people are like, wait, why is he all desiccated and flaky and gross? Yeah. He just goes, yeah, that's what happens when you do drugs, kids. Your fucking skin falls off. Stay above the influence. At some point in his journey, he ended up getting coated in wax and paint to look a little less rotty before ending up in a warehouse in 1949. Here's the thing, he was in there alongside some actual wax figures, and after spending 19 years in storage, nobody knew he was a real corpse anymore, so he ended up getting sold in 1968 as a mannequin to one Spoonie Singh, owner of the Hollywood Wax Museum. He tried to lend the guy out a couple times during his stay, but people found him too gross or unrealistic looking for whatever purposes they had in mind. So he ended up getting sold again and used as a prop of a hanged man at the Pike Amusement Zone in their Funhouse ride, with zero knowledge that he was an actual dead criminal.
Dude, that's awesome. That's absolutely be in like haunted houses and like scary rides, literal actual dead bodies. Dude, let's go. Someone make that happen. There's got to be like a legal way to do it, right?
It wasn't until 1976, 65 years after his death, that an episode of The $6 Million Man was being filmed at the complex, and a stagehand tried to move the prop around, only to have its arm break off in his hand. He was like, lousy stiff. Wait a minute, that's curious. This mannequin's got human flesh and bones inside of it.
They didn't, are you serious? They really didn't know.
The autopsy confirmed what everyone present at the time suspected. By this point, the body was so dried out and stale that it only weighed 50 pounds, which makes me think we should start a radical new fad diet where we just get people to mummify parts of their body. Like, Jenny, guess what? I just lost 30 pounds in 5 days. Wow, holy heck, how'd you do that? They call it the Egyptian cleanse. Anyway, with that, McCurdy was finally laid to rest back in his homeland of Oklahoma, and that film crew's lives were never the same again. Flashback to late 18th century. Baloney. There lived a physician by the name of Luigi Galvani. This guy was a big deal. He's the dude who discovered that, hey, animals got electricity in them. And his legacy still survives today in words like galvanize. One of his most famous experiments was the one where he used static electricity to make frog legs twitch on command. Around these parts, we call that the French salute. Stereotypes funny. Well, in 1803, his nephew, Giovanni Aldini, said, hey, that's pretty nifty and all, but what if we tried it on people? So the city of London was like, hey, now you're thinking with portals. One freshly executed criminal coming up. Aldini gathered a crowd and applied 2 diodes to the corpse's head, causing his face to scrunch up and one eye to flick open. Aldini was a showman, though. He wanted some real action, so he then put the current through opposite points in the body, which made the whole thing flail around like Pinocchio in heat. Now today we know he was just exciting the dead muscle.
What does that have to do with anything? Pinocchio in heat?
Right? But the people who were watching had no idea what was going on. So they were like, Jesus Christ, this guy's a fucking necromancer. Quick, go get grandma. Maybe we can get in the will after all. Fun fact, this experiment actually ended up serving as inspiration for Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which makes me wonder what other famous novels were based on real life events. Was a white whale ever pursued by a vengeful sea captain? Was there actually a mentally handicapped migrant worker who liked hugging rabbits to death? Was there ever a human soul as profoundly asinine and willfully ignorant as Amelia Bedelia? God, I hate her glassy-eyed face so fucking much. I just want to mash it into a running waffle maker, be like, ha, isn't that ironic? Grab her by her vacant fucking head, throw her at her 747 and say, hey, why didn't you shoot yourself when you had the chance? Get it! Anyway, one thing we learned today is the importance of reputability. And just as you wouldn't want some dirty carnies jacking your stiff phrasing, you certainly wouldn't want the same fate to befall your valuable online information. That's why you need to try Dashlane. Dashlane's been all over the place recently, and with good reason. In this day and age, cybersecurity and privacy have never been more important, and only a select few people have the time, energy, and know-how to keep their data as safe as humanly possible. What Dashlane does is it takes all your passwords and autofill data across all your devices and uses the power of encryption to keep them out of the hands of lowly hackers. PC, Mac, iOS, Android, Chrome, Safari, Firefox, doesn't matter, Dashlane's got your back. Something especially cool about it is that you can automatically change your passwords right in Dashlane without fiddling with stupid security questions from 6 years ago you don't don't know the answer to for an hour. Dashlane Premium even comes with a VPN, so now you can take full advantage of unsecured Wi-Fi without ever worrying that the janitor in the back of Starbucks knows about those horrific purchases you're making. So please, go to dashlane.com/salmonella to try Dashlane Premium free for 30 days. Also, the first 200 people who use the promo code Salmonella will get 10% off their Dashlane Premium subscription. By the way, this video ended up being way too long, so stay tuned for part 2 in a week or two. Anyway, that's all for today. Till next time, I'm Salmonella, and thank you for watching.
Let me know if I should see part 2. All right, but here's my final thoughts. All right, Sam, once again, pulling out these crazy, obscure stories from history. I don't know where he gets this stuff. Like, what's his source? It's out there. It's got to be on the fringe of the dark web out there, but they always come in hot, and they're always so funny and super informative. But again, it's like, I do a lot of my stuff on this channel because I like learning and then trying to find fun things and more information to express in the classroom and stuff like that. And sometimes I have a hard time with that with some Salmonella stuff, but then sometimes it's just like so easy and I love it. Anyway, all right, with that, we're going to see you next time. Bye.